Hey guys, how are you doing today? I am doing something a little bit different to any other video that I have ever done. I have been doing a lot of reflecting and a lot of thinking on where do I want to go, where do I want my channel to go, and what sort of things do I want to do. And I've decided that even though I will continue doing YouTube, it won't be my primary focus. Instead, I've set up a blog which I will link below. It's kbethbookish.com, and basically all of my book reviews, I'll have book tags, I'm going to be doing interviews with fellow bloggers and publishers. All of that kind of stuff will go on there, and I think for me that's just a better platform because I feel more comfortable when I'm writing and doing photography than I am being in front of a camera. However, I did want to still have some videos, and that's why I'm here today to talk to you about my bullet journal. And for this video I'll be going through my reading journal and my setup for 2021. So for my bullet journal I got the Suki Moonlight edition from Notebook Therapy. It was actually meant to not get to me until Christmas Day, but I managed to convince Rob to let me have it a bit earlier, as soon as it arrived, so that I could get it all set up ready for January, because it can take me a long time to get anything set up and done, especially with having the ADHD and not being able to focus for long enough on things to complete them. What I love about this book is it's got a really beautiful faux leather feel to it. This gorgeous like gold gilding on the front and on the side. And then we have these absolutely wonderfully, which you can't really see the pages perfectly because you can see I've already filled quite a lot in this journal, but you got all this beautiful gold edging with the sort of sprayed edges, and it was just so pretty. And it came with a little charm. With all of their notebooks you get a little bookmark charm, so always keep an eye on the back wallet for that. It's got your standard sort of thicker paper, it's 160 GSM, so a lot less bleeding. Doesn't handle alcohol markers very well, it does bleed those still quite badly, and I've noticed that when you try to use watercolour on it, even a light watercolour can make the pages go a little bit funky, so just be very aware of that. And then, as with all bullet journals, it has your really nice little wallet in the back to store things in. I mostly use mine to store my stencils and anything that I'm going to be using over the year. So we go into our first page and we have 2021 reading journal with my little book lover sticker. I got this in, I think it was the Wildest Dreams book box, or it was the Book Box Club book box, like over a year ago. And I'd been holding on to it, didn't know what to do with it, and then as soon as I got this journal I knew it was going to be my front page sticker. So I have done a little bit more to that than came with the journal. Mostly I did that because when I tried to write my name I completely screwed it up, so I just covered over it. Did just want to point out this is my first kind of proper bullet journal. I tried to do some bullet journaling last year in 2019. However, as with all things, I started it, did a couple of months, and then it kind of faltered. However, I tried a different journal in the early part of 2020, so I got this journal here, which is just a Leuchtturm 1917, and from September through to November I filled it in, and I was doing it religiously, and I thought, hey, let's try and keep this going, so I upgraded to a better notebook. So things like my calligraphy and my writing skills still need some work, and I hope you kind of stick with me for that. If you know anyone that does some really good workshops and tutorials, then link them below and I will check those out. I then created an index because some bullet journals are really cool and have pre-numbered pages and they have an index, some don't. This one does not, so I've had to fill all the numbers in myself, and I created my own little index. I've gone with a sort of, originally it was just going to be black and gold, and then some bits of white came in, and then silver, so it just became black, gold, silver and white. Tried to keep it looking very clean, tiny bit of grey in there as well, and just tried to keep it nice and clean, nice and tidy. We have the cover page, so 2021, like I said, golds, silvers, stars, celestial. I know this is a theme that's been done a lot by people, but for me, obviously, any theme I do is new to me. So I just try to put my own kind of twist and spin on things, and I haven't necessarily stuck to a theme for very long. I just, in the end with this one, I think I started off with stars and planets and ended up going just more with that colour. Then we have the Books Read spread. I did this in another journal that came out really nicely. With this one, I feel like it's been overdone. Like, I think I've just done a bit too much detailing and tried to add too much to these. I think I should have, on retrospect, maybe left the books and just sort of focused on the writing, but I still quite like this. I really like how the shelves came out. I like how the plants and stuff are all incorporated. This spread fits 100 books on it, which is way beyond my target for the year, but I thought any books that I don't read I can just colour in with a black or a grey or something just so that it looks nice. And I've got my little key here, so I've got audio, ebook and physical. I really want to try and push doing audio books and ebooks this year, because on my commute to work I have to travel 3 hours a day to get to and from work, so realistically I should be able to read about 2 audiobooks a week doing that if I was to not listen to music so much, and so that is my plan. I then have the 5-star Hall of Fame, so kind of self-explanatory with that one. Anytime I read a book and rate it 5 stars, I'm going to print out the cover of that book and stick it in one of these. Obviously I might not have 12 5-star books this year. I didn't have 12 in 2020. I had, I think, 7 5-star reads. But again, similar to this page, I will always just colour in any that I don't use, or put some doodles or quotes or something in those gaps that are left. I think this is one of my favourite spreads. Then we have the book of the year, so obviously I will have a favourite book of the year, although this year I'm kind of struggling to decide what that one is. So the cover will go on this page, and then on the other page it will just be like a little rationale of why I liked that book, any quotes from it, my favourite character, my favourite scenes, etc. Then just a little page so I can look back on 2020, because for the next few pages I'm focusing on my reading goals and what I want to do. So we've got my 2020 stats, and I use a Google Docs spreadsheet that was created by Book Roast, which I'll link below, because I use the core pile rating system that she uses, and I use the spreadsheet that she created for that to log my reads, and then at the end of the year it gives you like all these really cool graphs and stats that you can do, so I'm just going to print those out, put them in my book. We then have my absolute favourite spread of all of these, I think, because it's just so clean and it's just so clear, and the goals are there, and I just love this little skeleton. So I'm not going to read every single one of my goals out, I'm just going to pick out a few of them. So my Goodreads goal is at 30. This year I did manage to read, I think there's still a few more days of 2020 left, so I've got 2 books to finish, and that should bring me, I think, to 65 books this year. I'm fully aware that the only reason I hit that goal is because of COVID and all of that, because in the first few months when I was still working and training as a teacher, I managed to read sort of, I think, 2 or 3 books in 3 months. So I'm hoping to increase that by using more audiobooks and reading more ebooks, but I'm still going to keep my goal quite low just to see how I do. And then just to pick out a few of my goals, so definitely want to keep going with the increasing how much I'm reading from BIPOC and LGBT. This year I managed to increase quite a lot on those. I think when I looked at 2019 stats, it was something like 12% BIPOC and something like 13% LGBT. 2020 I've managed to raise both to over 30%, so I want to kind of keep that trajectory going. Definitely increase male authors, finish a few more series, read some books with ADHD rep, because I've actually never done that, which is really stupid because I have ADHD and yet I've never looked for books that feature characters with ADHD. Read more arcs, because I'm now on NetGalley, I'm on Book Sirens, and I'm on Reads the Discovery. So for all three of those, some crossovers, so you do get some books that are published to all three, but for the most part each one has different things, and so I want to really push reading more arcs and getting the feedback done for those, and the feedback from those will also go onto my blog. And then just reading some more graphic novels, and then just a bonus one, which is to read more than I buy, because every year I will buy like 60 books but only read like 30, and then I've just got this massive TBR pile that I can never get through. So I'm kind of challenging myself to read more books than I buy. I'm not counting books that are bought for me, because I'm fully aware it's my 30th birthday coming up, and I know of at least 3 or 4 people already who have bought books, so I'm not going to count those. And then just have an overview of my reading year in statistics. Pretty simple. Just I've got audiobook, ebook, graphic novel and manga, book recommended to me, arcs and pages. So that's kind of linked to my goals, where I've got set numbers and things, so I can just see at a glance where I'm at with those targets and make sure that I'm still keeping up. 21 books in 2021, so these are books that I really want to get around to reading. Most of them are books that I already own. There's just a few on there that I don't already own and need to buy. So I've got Saga Volume 2. Originally I put Saga Volume 1 down, and then a week later went and read that because I forgot that I'd written that down for next year, so now I've changed that to Volume 2. So I don't currently own that, and I don't own the Guinevere Deception, but I think all the rest of these I do have. So that's quite good. And then I have the most anticipated releases in 2021. So I have this really cute sticker saying coming soon, and then just a little bit of doodling. And then for each one, I've not really put them down in any particular order. So I've just printed out the cover of the book, written down 5 stars so that when I read it, I can then colour in how many stars I gave it, and then the release date. And then, so that one's my most anticipated, and then we just have all of the books that are coming out that I'm interested in, because obviously with all things there's going to be some books that I'm more excited about than others. So you can see there's quite a lot in January and quite a few in March and April, and then we got right up to August at the moment. Then because I'm really bad at keeping track of what ebooks and audiobooks I've owned and keep forgetting to include them in my TBR lists, I've just given myself a quick list of all the ebooks that I've got on my library at the moment, as well as whether they're Kindle Unlimited, so I know that they've got to be given back, and if I like them I can then buy them. Same with audiobooks, so just a list of audiobooks that I've got on Audible at the moment. My arcs, so I've got what site it's from. As I said, I've got 3 sites that I'm on that give arcs out, and then you never know, I might get arcs through other book boxes and things, so we never know. Then obviously you got title, author, the date that I got it to remind myself how long I've had it, publication date, who the publisher is, special instructions, because some publishers, like when I did the Once and Future Witches in 2020, they asked that the review wasn't published until 2 weeks before the book was released. So even though I read it about 2 months before, I kind of had to hold on to reviewing it for a little while. Other places just ask, like, if you want to join the book tour, to message them and things, so I just write any little extra bits there. And then obviously tick box whether I've read and reviewed it. Then books hauls, so books that I buy, books that have been given to me, and book boxes. Unhauled, so any books that I clear off my shelves, because the number of times I think about a book, go to grab it, and then I'm like, wait, what happened to that? Did I loan it or did I get rid of it? Then the wish list, so Rob and anyone else who knows me, they will know this is where they can go at Christmas and birthday for the following year. So I've got series and standalones that I wish to own. Then over the next few pages I just have like a bit of a series tracker. So here I've got written down the book series that I'm currently reading. Some of these I haven't, like the Fever series, I think the last time I read one of those books was about 2 years ago. But I do know that there's still about another 3 or 4 in the series that I need to get around to reading. So it just helps me. I colour in the boxes as I've read them, and then just lets me know where I'm at on each series and kind of gives me a bit of a mental prod as well. Same with manga. so colour them in as I read them so I can see where I'm at in the series. And then finally graphic novels, so I've got Saga, Monstrous and Heartstopper. And then the final bit for my yearly overlog is just my book review log, so this is more for my blog, and it just shows me, I just write down the book title, any books that I'm reviewing for the blog, so it's got the title, author, whether I've posted the review to Goodreads, because even if they don't end up on the blog, I will always put a little review up on Goodreads, usually like a shortened version of it. Then it just has whether I've done a picture of it and then when I've posted it. So I've got just a few pages for that. And then finally we're on to our book challenges and readathons. So I've got calendar of the year with my readathons on. So the only one I've got so far is the tropical readathon in March, and then I need to also include it in August. I'm going to try and limit myself to only one readathon a month because I tend to get over encumbered and focus more on the readathons than I do about actually reading. And then I've got Beat the Backlist, which is done by Novel Night. This one is a year-long readathon. You've got 2 challenges, so you can either do the 24 book or the 52 book prompt. All of the prompts in the 24 are also in the 52, so it's not like you've got 2 completely separate lists. The only rule that they have is that the book must have been published before 2021, so obviously any of those new releases and book releases and book box books aren't going to be applicable. And then the last thing that I've done here is just a quick list of books that fit the prompts where I can, because some of them like you won't know until you've read them. And then I just quickly put a list down of books that fit. So that is my bullet journal setup. I hope you liked this video, and I hope that you continue to stick with me as we go through 2021. Hopefully 2021 is going to be a little bit brighter than 2020, and we have a little bit more time to actually be with people. But if not, at least I know I've got my books to back up on. So, hope you're good, hope you're staying safe, and I will see you on the next one. As always, don't forget to like and subscribe if you liked that video, so you can always get my updates, and follow me on social media. I'm on Instagram, going to be on Facebook very soon, and there is always my blog, and I will see you on the next video. Ciao for now.